All right, welcome in, everybody. Joe Powers here with you, getting ready for another episode of your GHSA All Access as we wind toward the beginning of football season here, presented freshly and new by our friends at Harvey's Groceries. We certainly appreciate them being our presenting sponsor here of your GHSA All Access. And joining us here today, we're going to have our friends in from a little south of Dublin, where we sit here. Going to be our friends from Crisp County. And that's going to be head coach Justin Newman here with me. Giving you a little preview there, Coach Newman, of what we got coming up between the pylons. We'll get to that in just a minute. But thanks for joining us here today. How are you?
Man, wonderful. All this pre-planning, getting ready for school.
It's always nice, man. The work before the work. It's always something, right?
Correct. Even though we've been working for the last 2 months, but yeah.
That's right. I hear you. Well, Coach, thanks for joining us here on GHSA All Access. It's always fun to hear from coaches in new seats and always hear from coaches all around the state of Georgia. Of course, we cover the whole state here on GHSA All Access. So let me say congratulations to you here on your first season with the Crisp County Cougars. What you got to say about the season coming up? What you want to start with?
I'm very excited to see what these kids are doing. They've been working really, really hard and what we've been trying to bring over here, me bringing over here from Carver from last year. But I'm just excited to see these guys play. We got to go to HOCO this Friday, so we've got a lot of work ahead of us. We got a tough schedule, but it's only going to make us better for when it's time to get into region play. When our region isn't terrible. But, like I said, you don't want to play easy games all the time. You want to work, the goal is always try to get back to the bins. And get to the bins and do those type of things. And this community is very hungry for that. And like I said, we're just going to work hard. That's all we can do.
I hear you, Coach. Well, it's going to be a fun season, I'm sure. Got some information there on the screen here. You guys have had a run of success there in the mid 2010s, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20 region championships. I think you guys have, let's see, it's going to scroll across the screen here. 11 region titles?
4 or 5 during that time. Well, yeah, I think we do have 11. Last I looked at the sign.
Yeah, 11 region titles. The last one coming in 2021, and you guys were last in the state championship game there in 2019 against Cedar Grove. What you got on your team this year, Coach? Is it going to be seniors, juniors, sophomores? Where's your heavy class this year for the
I think it is between the seniors and juniors where we're at. There's still some returning guys, but then there's a few that are going to be in that junior class looking to step up for us. But some of them actually got some time. We've got offensive lineman Brody Stevens, who's going to be a junior. He's going to be a big, heavy factor on the offensive line. Started as a sophomore last year, big 6'3", 280 kid. We got a quarterback back who's a 4'4" student, Hagen Slimp. He's taken off in the offense that we brought to him, to Crisp County. We got our wide receiver, Deshaun Fedd, who recently got named at All-State for the preseason rankings in there. He's a special kid. He's got offers from Cincinnati, Liberty, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Arkansas State. Majority of the group of fives, his first Power 4 was Cincinnati. Defensively, we got a middle linebacker, Jordan Fox. I got to coach against his older brother, who's at Mercer, who was just a stud, and he was all-region player of the year that I actually helped get that vote. I was the deciding vote because the head coach couldn't go because he had some other obligation, so I had to go to the meeting, and I voted for his older brother. He's going to be a really, really big factor for us. We moved a wide receiver to safety, Ty King. He's done a really great job back there. I could name a lot of kids over here that we have that are doing really, really well. Carlin Irvin, Grant Alexander. But, it's just a good group of kids. And the biggest thing that I've tried to instill in my coaches and the kids is we got to get them to buy in to what we want the program to be. And we seem to really be doing that, from going to OTAs down at Lowndes, playing, trying to play with these big boys and getting them to understand they can play with teams of that nature. But I'm really excited to see how it all works. Everybody's been excited. Me being a defensive coordinator over at Carver in the year we had last year defensively, they're excited to see the defense. Now I get to look at both sides now as the head coach. So I try to delegate as much as I can.
Right. Well, Coach, I tell you, we're looking at your schedule here on the screen now as we get ready. You mentioned Houston County coming up Friday. You guys are going to be on the road there. And then you've got Sumter County, Lubbock, Fitzgerald, Peach. Well, you see the schedule there in front of you. Let's talk a little bit about first, that offense that you just mentioned, bringing to Chris County, what are people going to see from the Cougars on the field?
Like I said, we want to run the football, but we're going to still be able to throw it because we've got an explosive weapon in Deshaun Fed. He's actually pictured up at the top, and the quarterback and the offensive lineman are down there as well. But like I said, I've always been a firm believer offensively. You take what the defense gives you because the defense always gives you something. There is no defense that stops absolutely everything out there. If there is, everybody would run it. So you got to pick and choose, and you got to decide what your battles are going to be being a defensive coordinator. So I want to be able to take what they give us. They want to load the box. We want to be able to get it to our guy out there and a couple other receivers that we have as well. And if they want to go out there and double him up and take people out of the box, we want to be able to run with our two running backs, LJ Brown and Zion Mabry. So, we've got one's a big bruiser back, one's a speed back. So we've got a good mix on offense. It's just really getting everybody all on the same page and going to that same standard.
Okay. Well, sounds good. Sounds like you guys have a plan and some people to execute that plan on the offensive side of the ball. Let's talk about on the defensive side of the ball. What can the Cougars look forward to out there between the lines?
I bring it's a mentality that I've had for the last 4 years and working under Pierre Coffey, whether it was at Chatco or Columbus Carver. We call it the dark side, spell it with a C, because both schools have a C on there. But it's just a mentality. You take some things from some very, very good people. I'd be remiss. My father, Scott Newman, one of the main ones in defense. Tony Graziano was a longtime defensive coordinator in high schools. Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, from all those guys. And the biggest thing in there that you see with most of them is you can't give up rushing touchdowns. If you're giving up rushing touchdowns, you have problems. If the people have to throw the football to beat you, there's a lot of other things that can happen when you throw it. You only need one mistake. When they're handing it off, there's only one thing that can happen. So we try to build it on being tough and working hard and that hard-nosed, blue-collar mentality. And that's what we're going to bring out there. We're going to play disciplined football, but we're going to fly around. You're going to see that it's all 11 getting to the football. And like I said, and you're going to see also from us is that it's about the whole. It's not about each individual getting their stats because, again, offenses are going to take what you tried to give them. So they're going to, if you got a big defense end like we had at Carver last year, they're going to try to do other things to play away from him. So he's not going to get some stats some nights. Right. And that's what I try to really get with these guys defensively to understand is it's got to be about the team, and you need to celebrate your brother's success more than you celebrate your own success. And I feel like we've been starting to get to that mentality. And when they do that, they can be very special. I try to remind them kind of my group last year that we had defensively. I think we averaged giving up 6.5 per game. But if you take away the special teams, I think the defense gave up, 3-point-something points a game. Wow. And none of them cared who got the credit. And I said, you could tell it was going to be a special year last year because nobody cared who got the credit. And when that happens and it's focusing on the name on the front more than the name on the back, you can do special things like we did last year. And those kids are starting to see that and starting to believe that. So I think we're going to do a lot better than people think. But like I tell the kids, like there's going to be bumps in the road. And no matter what happens, we got to just keep working and playing because that ball's not round. It's not going to bounce where you want it to bounce all the time. So I tell them, hey, take the punches and just keep throwing punches like a boxer. Just keep on playing.
That's it. We looked here just a second ago at the facilities that you guys have there in Crisp County. Nice looking field. You guys looks like it's going to be a home opener week 2 in the season. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Against Lovett.
That's right. So let's talk a little bit about that environment there and what it's like. I'll admit right now, Coach, I haven't been able to make it down there to a ball game most of the time because I'm in a press box calling a ball game here in Dublin. But talk to me about what it's like there to play football on a Friday night in Crisp County.
Well, I haven't been able to be a coach on the Crisp side of it, but we went there and played. Our second year at Carver went there and played, and it was a tough environment, especially with a little bit of rain. With the turf field they just had for the first time that year, and you could just tell the community loves their Cougars. And that's one thing that I really try to preach to everybody here is that it's not my team. It's our team, and that's a big shirt that's being made for all of them. This is our team. Like I want everybody in this community to feel like they're a part. We need the fan noise. We need those people out there supporting, whether it be financial, whether it be bringing Gatorades or all those type of things, that it needs to be that type of environment. And the environment there, like I'm telling you, when we played there that time, it was a tough game, really, really tough game. that, kind of came down to the wire. I think we ended up winning by 2 scores, but it was tight the entire time. And you can just tell how passionate the fans are, how passionate the kids are, that they really breed it. I try to equate it, and I'm sure they do it down there in Dublin and some other places. But when you get into those one county schools, it's about as close as you can get when you watch those Friday Night Light movies where the town shuts down and they all want to go be at the game. And when you're at those type of schools, that's the type of environment that you're getting when you come down here to Cordele.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. This your first season there at Crisp County, of course, and that week 2 going to be the home opener for you there. It got to be a little anxious, got to be a little exciting for you to be on the home side of that stadium this year. It's a beautiful facility you guys have down there. So, Coach, let's talk just a little bit now before we get into some of the more fun part of what we do here on GHSA All Access. Let's talk a little bit about that coaching staff that you've got assembled there at Crisp County. Who'd you bring with you? Who stayed? What's new? What are some of the faces that people will see on the sidelines this year?
One of them, I brought a former classmate of mine. We both went to Shaw High School back when Shaw was Shaw back in the day, winning everything at that point. My junior year was the year, that we won baseball, football, runners up in softball. I mean, it was incredible. All sports were really good.
Right.
But Jarrell Mabry being my offensive coordinator, along with Jason Slimp, who was here before they're going to offensive coordinate together. I got longtime Cougar and Cougar coach Jeff Wilson. He's my pass game coordinator. My offensive line coach, Kobe Wiest, he was here also. Majority of the offensive guys kind of were here before. Defensively, I kind of brought my guys because they know what I want from it. Xavier Billingsley handles my secondary. I did bring in a linebacker, Coach Robert Spann from Tift County. Emmanuel Mann, a kid I coached who just graduated from Middle Tennessee State, is now getting into his first teaching job and coaching with me. Nick Hudson, who's over from the Lee County area, and then a couple community guys that are around the area, Coach P, Coach Tooks. They're all doing wonderfully in buying into what I'm asking of them as a program. I stole it from Vince Lombardi, hey, we're going to chase perfection and we're going to catch excellence in the process. And that's just the thing that we really preach here is, hey, man, I can't tell you that you're going to be perfect because nobody's perfect. But if you're chasing it, you're going to find some excellence in there. And we try to do that with everything in life, whether it's grades or anything to that nature. But those are the guys that I brought, and I'm really happy to have all those guys. Happy to at least finally get my wife down here after being down here early last year. And the kids, they're really excited. They love the area. They love the community. They love the booster club that we have here. I mean, it's been, and then having Jimmy Hughes as the AD here, who has so much knowledge with the football game. I mean, I've coached against him a couple of times and known Jimmy, and having that asset is invaluable.
Yeah.
To have a guy that you can go talk to who's done it, who's been on them big stages as well.
That's right. Well, it looks like you got a lot coming up for you here in this new beginning at Crisp County. Going to be a lot of fun for you. Coach, I always like to give you the opportunity before I get into, again, some of the antics we'll have coming up in just a few minutes. But what is it, some of the things maybe that you'd like to share that you don't get asked from people like me who sit on this side of the camera or write the articles? What are some of the things the often overlooked but coaches know what's going on? What are some of those things? Anything you'd like to share about the Cougars program, the school, the community, anything like that?
I don't think a lot of people truly understand how important your administration is, from the superintendent to the principal you work for, the APs, the academic coaches, even the faculty that you have, how important it is that everybody is together in everything that you do, like who your principal is, who your athletic director is, and who your superintendent is, are vital. Because if one of those doesn't have the same vision, it makes it very tough, especially if they're divided and these two think this and then these two think this, it just really makes things hard. But the thing that I love about here is, man, the principal, I get to work with Brian Anderson, is going to be wonderful. He's worked with Jimmy. The superintendent's been here working with Jimmy. So we're all four into this thing. And so it makes it for a easier transition and adjustment to the new stuff that we're bringing in. And a lot of people don't really think about that when it comes to it. There's, we got so-and-so to coach. Well, man, there's a lot of things outside of football that a head coach has to deal with.
Right.
that I used to Pierre Coffey, my brother, love him to death. He got a principal job down at Stewart County, and him and I still talk all the time to this day. And it's always funny because I would always, oh, well, that's your job. You're the head coach. You got it, man. I'm the coordinator. And now I'll call them with some stuff that I had. Because see, you always pass it off to me instead of just trying to help me do it. So like I said, you get to do these other things, and it's just so nice that we're actually in pads now. We're into football, and that we're going full ahead. So now I don't have to deal with a lot of more. I've already taken care of a lot of the logistic stuff of it.
Right. I hear you. Well, Coach, as we talk about camp and summer and, all those things, the workouts you've been able to go through, and now you're getting up to 17, well, for you guys, 5-6 days away from football. But let's talk about that team and what the other side of the coin is here that we do, Coach Newman. I get to talk about it. You get to do it. Right. And that's making these young men into great athletes and great student athletes and great young men that will be fathers and, brothers and people in your community. Let's talk about that side of it for a minute. What are you doing there at Crisp County? How's the personal growth? How are you reaching that in Crisp County?
Well, one thing, like I said, we try to challenge all of them to be leaders and everything. We really try to have a lot of community involvement, from either going to the rec, participating in different parades. Something that I was really proud of our guys, that our sheriff's office here was putting on an active shooter in the schools training for our county. Shoot, I mean, it might have been Lawrence County may have been there too. I know Dooley was. A couple other counties around the area were coming there, and for 3 days, I moved my practices because they needed students there too. And, and they got to act out, being shot. Because like I said, while you don't want those things to happen in that aspect, you'd rather our guys be prepared if that did happen, and our guys understanding what they're doing as well. So maybe they can help out with some of the things. We got to go do things like that, like being involved in the community and showing that you care for it, and letting my guys go do things like that really is the biggest thing, and trying to teach them and how to get it, and like I tell them all the time, like, how you represent yourself, it shows. And if I can't trust you when you're doing it in practice, I'm not going to let you go show out because you've got Crisp County on your chest on Friday. Right. So we're really trying to get them to be better men because they went through this program, and everything that we can do to help, whether it be a girlfriend experience. We got to be here. We have to have transformational relationships instead of transactional. Like, I'm only going to deal with you because you can run a football. You run a 4.4 or something. Like it doesn't matter what they are. Like, each kid has to know you love them, and there's more to it. And that's something that we try to teach them, and that we're here and show them that there's other ways to get to where you want to be in that aspect. So we really just preach love in this in our football program here.
That's outstanding. We talk about that with every coach that I speak to, Coach Newman, around the state on this show. We talk about football. We talk about what you got coming up. We talk about the Jimmies and Joes, right, as we say. But you got to talk about what happens to the rest of the man as you take them through school, and what happens after they graduate. Because, this is a big part of where I learned it, as a student athlete from home, and from the coaches that have played parts in my life through high school and college, and the part you play in these young men's lives are no less important. So we like to highlight that and talk about it here on the show.
Some of my favorite things that happen as a coach, like I told them, I played professional baseball for 2 years with the Reds, and I got to I tell the kids, I had my shine. I had my time in the sunlight. Like, it's not about me in that retrospect. I want it to be about you. And some of the best things that ever happened to me is getting yelled at across Walmart, "Hey, coach," and then having those conversations, being invited to these kids' weddings, getting called. I think I had about 5-6 calls from our former seniors from Carver last year. "Hey, coach, we don't go to school until like August 10th. We're coming down to Warner Robins to come watch y'all play this spring. We want to see you. We want to do those type of things." Those are the things that if you cherish those things more than the wins and the losses, you're gonna have a more fulfilling time as a coach.
That's right.
And then hopefully don't get these grades like I've been starting to get.
I just got rid of mine, man. I just got rid of it all. You know what I mean?
I don't think my wife will let me get rid of it all.
Well, I can say it turned gray. I can say it turned loose. I can say, either way, it just turned. So
you're correct.
That's what happened. Well, Coach, as you may have seen me highlight here on the screen a couple times, we have a little fun game that we like to play here on GHSA All Access, and I'm going to show it to you in just a second. It's called the Between the Pylons. That's what this is called, okay? So I'm going to not give you any warning about the questions that I have planned for you, but it's all in fun, so just know that. And we'll give you 60 seconds on the clock here when we get started. And basically, Coach, it's going to be rapid fire. So we talked about stealing quotes from other people. So I'll start you out kind of easy here as we start our clock. Okay?
Yes.
What's your favorite sports quote from a movie?
If I told you the entire sports quote movie, it wouldn't go very well. But it's the Bull Durham speech that he gives to the out there talking about the soul.
I got you.
I believe in the correct. Yeah. If I did the whole thing, it'd be a long one. But that's my favorite sports quote.
I hear you. Well, how about this one? What's your most unusual game day ritual, if you have it?
I wear these same bright silver Nike Vapor coaching shoes.
I'll take it. All right. What's the funniest player nickname this year that you run into?
Oh man, our funniest one this year. Oh, I call a kid Visor. Visor. Younger kid. He comes out all flashy with his visor on and whatnot, and he's out there just dropping passes. And I just like, you take off the visor, I bet you catch it. So we've kind of nicknamed him Visor.
I hear you. All right. And our final question here, as we run out of time, Coach, nickname you've given or been given by your team or coaches.
The Carver kids called me Papa Newman. The kids here call me Big Homie.
I love it. Big homie.
Yeah. Big Homie don't play. He does not play. All right, guys. Sure.
That's awesome, Coach. Thank you so much for taking part in that. That's what we call Between the Pylons here on GHSA All
I'll tell you a funny story. I'll give you one. At Carver, Coach Coffee likes to let the kids mimic a coach they want to, mimic a coach at the end of practice, kind of do it off. And I had the outside linebacker. His name's Colin Hodge. And he's probably the biggest jokester we had on the team that last year. And he gets up and he's like, who are you going to do? Colin's got to do Coach Newman. He's got to do Coach Newman. He's got to do Coach Newman. Boy, did he not get up there and nail it too. He absolutely nailed it. And man, and I'm talking everybody, coaches, parents that were watching the practice, everybody's rolling. And I scared him. I said, well, all right, you can come see me on the hill. Come on, we're running to the hill now. What? Coach Coffee said that. Because no, we're going to the hill, man. So I scared him, got him back. But it's so much fun to let them kids know that, you're a human at the same point too.
That's right. Well, Coach Justin Newman, the head coach of Chris County, the new head coach, look forward to football this Friday there in Houston County. And, of course, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I guess, when you open up at home, best of luck to you in all games. But enjoy that home opener there in Crisp County. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. Coach, I always leave you with the last word, so I'll let you have it here. Anything you want to share before we let you go?
Oh, man, it's always great to be a Cougar, man. How sweet it is.
All right. Coach Justin Newman, thank you so much for joining us here on GHSA All Access, and best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
The best in high school sports coverage in the state of Georgia is known by one name, the GSHA All Access. Tune in right here weekly to stay current with player profiles, coaches' conversations, and what's happening at GHSA Sports. The GHSA All Access. Right here. Presented by Powers Media Network.